Are you looking for the ultimate tropical North Queensland holiday? If so, chances you've wondered which is the best way to experience it. Therefore today I'm here to give you a rundown of Cairns versus Port Douglas and find out which one is better for you to visit. Since I've toured both these wonderful places, you can clearly see they offer stunningly beautiful spots, UNESCO areas and of course the Great Barrier Reef. But what about everything else? So let's dive deeper into each location and help make that decision easier. Firstly, both Cairns and Port Douglas are located in North Queensland. In fact, it only takes 1 hour to drive between both and simply a day trip away. So your only one decision is which one you want to make your base, or split your vacation time up between the both. Ultimately, when it comes down to choosing between Cairns and Port Douglas, it really depends on your budget and what you want to see. Cairns offers the picturesque Kuranda, the botanical gardens, the Reef Eye Ferris wheel and some incredible waterfalls, and some of the best freshwater swimming holes like the Binder Boulders. Meanwhile, you'll benefit from visiting Port Douglas as the neighbour to the stunning Daintree National Park, Mossman Gorge, and the beautiful 4 Mile Beach. And of course the wild crocodile cruises. Note though, while you can visit the Daintree from both towns, it is actually closer to Port Douglas. So what about the Great Barrier Reef? While I think both destinations are great and they have their own draw cards, if you're going to see the Great Barrier Reef, then you can do this from either. As someone who has had the opportunity to dive and snorkel the Great Barrier Reef plenty of times, I can tell you there isn't much difference between what you'll see at Cairns compared to Port Douglas. However, I have noticed a distinct variation between the inner and the outer parts of the reef. I think the inner reef parts are shallower and better for first-timers, while the outer reef areas are deeper and you'll have the opportunity to see larger creatures. While you generally never know what you're going to see on any given day, I think it comes down to pure luck though. Sometimes you might be lucky enough to witness an abundance of marine life, and other times you may not. That being said, one thing is certain, the Great Barrier Reef is truly magnificent wonder of the world that should be on every traveller's bucket list of Australia. So what about price? Cairns would definitely be the ideal choice when looking for budget accommodation. It's proven time and time again to be a reliable and affordable international gateway, welcoming travellers from all around the world. So if you're looking to save some cash, finding a cheaper place to stay in Cairns is the clearer choice for you. But what if you're after a little bit of luxury? If that's the case, then Port Douglas is precisely what you want. It's an exclusive and secluded destination perfect for special getaways, honeymoons, or just a little rest and relaxation. However, keep in mind that Port Douglas does have more expensive options, so make sure it fits within your budget. On the other hand, there are ways of finding cheaper alternatives there, but it requires you to stay out of town and not directly on the beach. Next up, where's the airport? The good news is that since they're only 1 hour drive from each other, there is only the Cairns International Airport to fly into. Therefore, Cairns would be your more straightforward option to base your accommodation if you're not looking to transfer. So how do you get to Port Douglas then? Well, you're lucky that it's not too tricky and you can make your way there by hiring a car or taking a shuttle service from the airport to the city. Therefore, don't let the distance between these two destinations deter you from experiencing the best of what tropical North Queensland has to offer. I would personally hire a car, but this is simply for the freedom of exploring as I'm usually under a strict time schedule. Not only that, but unfortunately there isn't much public transport in Port Douglas and it will make it easier to get around. So what about tours? Well, there are plenty of tour options in both towns and you'll have no trouble seeing the highlights like the Daintree National Park and the Great Barrier Reef from either. That being said, I feel like Cairns has more choices and you'll want to plan out your week-long itinerary carefully so you don't miss out on all the fantastic adventures. This includes options like Kuranda Village, the Skyrail Gondola, the Kuranda Railway, of course the Great Barrier Reef, Barron Falls, the waterfalls in the Atherton Tablelands, the Esplanade Lagoon, Crystal Cascades, Botanical Gardens, and the Esplanade Walking Trail. On the other hand, Port Douglas is a laid-back luxury destination and perfect for those who want to kick back and relax, but also have plenty of options for entertainment. Therefore, I recommend planning a 4-day itinerary to see all the major sites, or longer to sit on the beach or pool every day. Choices from here are like the Daintree National Park, Mossman Gorge, 4 Mile Beach, sunset sailing, the Mossman River rafting, the crocodile cruises, St Mary's by the Sea Chapel, Flagstaff Hill Walking Trail, maybe the Bloomfield 4-wheel drive track, the Rexmill Park, or road tripping along the Great Barrier Reef Drive, the Crystal Brook Marina, or the Thalla Beach Reserve with the palm trees. If you're relying on public transport for your travels, then Cairns definitely has more systems available. This includes the daily public bus, taxis, Ubers, and walking if you're staying close to town. While it's true that the buses come with some limitations, they're still an excellent option for those who want to save some money on transportation while on their trip, especially if you're a backpacker. On the other hand, Port Douglas is limited with public transportation and only offering tour pickups, walking around, and a few taxis. While you can get a shuttle bus from Cairns, there's still no buses to get you around town. In the end, I just want you to know public transportation is certainly an option, but it can be limiting in terms of where you can go and when you can get there. While you don't have to hire a car in either, I think Port Douglas has a bigger need to hire one. So what about the best beaches? Well, if you're looking for a place to dip your toes in the water while on vacation in Cairns, then you might want to skip the beach straight off the city. Unfortunately, it's not really swimmable, and it's more of a mangrove area than a sandy oasis. Plus, there's the added risk of stingers during jellyfish season and crocodiles that can pass all year round. Therefore, it's probably not the most pleasant experience there. However, don't let that put you off the beaches. Surprisingly, there are plenty of fantastic options if you want to see some of the best beaches. Just book a tour to one of the islands, as there's plenty to do at places like Green Island, or maybe you might like Fitzroy. However, if you are looking for stunning beaches, look no further than Port Douglas and its famous 4 Mile Beach. While it's true that crocodiles and stingers can still pose a threat there, the beach is patrolled and offers designated safe areas for swimming. To truly experience the coastal beauty of the region, though, consider taking a tour to explore the nearby beaches like Palm Cove or Ellis Beach. And during the summer jellyfish season, don't forget to suit up in a lycra stinger suit to keep yourself safe while enjoying the water. But what about safety as a whole? Well, just like any North Queensland coastal town, things start to raise concern when it comes to taking a dip in the water. With stingers or jellyfish, it's essential to exercise caution whenever you're near the water or going for a swim. But places like this have precautions to best protect their tourists, and there are plenty of ways to avoid situations like these. Some include swimming in the freshwater streams or visiting during the winter season from April to October. From November to May each year, these coastal areas are affected by potentially dangerous jellyfish. While it may be tempting to take a dip in the beautiful waters, you must take preventative measures to avoid being stung. Thankfully, there are plenty of options to protect yourself, such as wearing a stinger suit or swimming in areas with net enclosures. When it comes to North Queensland, there's no denying that the sight of crocodiles can be a little unnerving. These fantastic creatures can be found hanging out in rivers and estuaries, especially in the warmer, cloudier waters. While they tend to shy away from the salt water, crocodiles may occasionally venture out to move from one river to another. Therefore, never swim alone, swim in netted or lifeguarded areas, or do your research before stepping into an unknown location. Next up, we have the population. Cairns might be the perfect place for you if you're looking for a bustling city experience. With a population of over 161,000 residents, there's always something going on in this lively metropolis. From a vibrant nightlife and a backpacker scene to an endless option of dining and entertainment. On the other hand, if you're seeking a more intimate and peaceful vacation, Port Douglas may be more to your liking. With just over 5,000 residents, this charming town is perfect for enjoying some much-needed relaxation and rejuvenation. As someone who doesn't consider them a foodie, I was surprised to find an abundance of dining options in both fresh seafood, fusion meals, cheap takeaways, gourmet burgers. Don't be afraid to explore either town's cafe and restaurant scene. When it comes to traffic, driving around Cairns during peak work hours can be a bit of a headache. The traffic is definitely more built up as it's a bigger town. I found myself stopping and starting a lot, which can be frustrating on times. On the other hand, Port Douglas has a bit more room to breathe, although it only has one main street and one road running along the locality. I've never had any issues with parking or getting around in my car. When it comes to weather, both towns are only an hour apart from each other, which makes their weather changes almost identical. Although surprisingly, different seasons bring a varied experience. This means you'll find international tourists visiting in the summer to escape their winter, and Aussie tourists will visit in the winter to escape the colder southern temperatures. Clearly, this makes it a great place to visit no matter what time of year, and it just depends on what kind of experience you're after. But you'll have to come and see for yourself why both are a must-visit destination. But if you want to explore more into the things to do in Cairns or Port Douglas, please click here for either video I've featured from there. And in the end, there's no wrong decision from choosing between them. But thanks very much for watching, guys, and I will see you for the next video.